And here at the new look Wembley, completely covered now, 100,000 voices roar welcome to the two teams. England in white, led by their captain Jimmy Armfield, and Scotland led by Eric Caldo. And already we've discovered that the noise in Wembley is being kept inside the stadium. The chanting of the Scots, who are making far more noise than the English supporters. Having won the toss, the roar swelling to great proportions again. It's Scotland in the dark shirts to kick off. Mr. Leo Horn, Holland, one of the greatest referees in the world, in charge of this match, just as he was in charge of the game at Hampden last year. Away comes Baxter, Scotland. Out to Lawn, it's Scotland first on the attack. Trying to slip that ball through to White, but it's more for England. England with three new caps in the team. The goalkeeper Banks, the left back Byrne, and the inside left Melia. Free kick to Scotland. Of course, they have memories of their last visit to Wembley 2 years ago when they lost 9-3. But since then, Scotland have made great strides and now are generally regarded as the strongest team in Britain, although England, like Scotland, have won both their home internationals this season. So the winners of this game will be the home international champions. White out to Wilson, and there's Douglas back challenging in the England defence. Into White, maybe one of those floated centres, and Norman rather getting in the way of Banks, and it's Henderson putting it back, and England in a spot of bother in this opening minute until Charlton moves it clear. Now Ian Muir, Baxter, now to Caldo, and certainly Scotland putting on the pressure right at the start of this international. Baxter, like Mackay, the other wing half, an attacking wing half. Wilson back to Baxter, two men colleagues in the Rangers team as well. Here's Muir, the man so many people say is the greatest centre-half in the world today. Henderson to Mackay, back to Hamilton, and everyone in the England half now except the Scottish goalkeeper. Now Flowers, Flowers almost making the gift of it to Wilson, but Banks there. Out with Douglas now. All England forwards, up Greaves moving down the middle. Lovely footwork by Douglas. Smith had started to move inside, so the momentum checked for a moment. Smith getting it across, there's Greaves, and neatly taken by his club colleague, but opponent for today, Brown. Norman deciding to come up, help his forward. Now Melia in the game for the first time. The man has been picked as the schemer for England through to Greaves. Now to Charlton, and it's England's turn to put pressure on. And neatly stopped by Brown for a corner. That one was really moving. It's Charlton taking the corner for England. And you're getting it away, not very clearly, and up comes more, but that's going wide for a goal kick. Goal kick to Scotland, who have the advantage of knowing that all their players are experienced internationals, whereas three Englishmen have got to settle down in the fiery cauldron of international football. And a foul by one of the England new caps, Byrne, on Henderson. Free kick to Scotland. Hamilton now to Henderson. It's White, but Flowers anticipating that move. Mackay back in the Scottish team after 2 years out of it. Trying to find St John. Norman on the scene quickly, but now it's with Henderson. And here comes Scotland once again. Oh, Mr. No goal by Moore. Well, Banks might not have a more difficult save to make all afternoon. Smith taking that ball beautifully, but spinning badly for him. And both Smith and Caldo could be hurt. They're both rolling in agony. Mr. Horn allowing play to go on, but both Smith and Caldo look badly hurt. Now it's Wilson. And St John beaten by Melia, and the crowd whistling, wanting the game to be stopped, and I think Banks is going to boot this into touch. It could well be two serious injuries. Let's hope, of course, that they're not. And so, after only 5 minutes play, tragedy has hit this international. The Scottish captain, Eric Caldo, needing a stretcher. So far, no signal for Bobby Smith. And Smith is being helped off. Unfortunately, being booed. Nothing to do with Bobby Smith. It's a pure accident.
Henderson now with Law on the right, backing up, pointing into the centre. Henderson needs to beat his man, which he does. Henderson gets it across. St John, nobody there. Almost a chance for Baxter, but I think he just felt he couldn't reach it, but he does get possession. It could still be dangerous. Baxter for Scotland. There's a goal! 29 minutes gone and 30,000 Scots go mad. Left half Baxter got two chances at it. Magnificent left foot crusher into the back of the net. England nothing, Scotland 1.
One goal to nil. Scotland lead England. And despite the tragedies of this match, the Scots are now deliriously happy. That was a strong tackle by Hamilton, beating Charlton. Now it's with St John. The Scots really with their tails up. Law to White. And Armfield making up for that tragic lapse of his when he threw the goal away. That's Greaves. And for a change, Wilson is beaten. And now the chant of Scotland, Scotland rising from the terraces. And Mackay anticipating that move, beating Melia to it. And Greaves is just walking around, limping and massaging his thighs. Davy Wilson going to see he's all right. Now Law, can Law turn quickly and get through the England defence? St John there trying to be a decoy. Back with Mackay. And Mackay now, the second attempt getting it to Henderson. Oh, a lovely body swerve by Henderson, a penalty. Penalty, yes, given away by Flowers. No doubt about it. 31 minutes gone. Not counting, of course, the time which will have to be added on for injuries. Penalty to Scotland. And it looks as if Baxter's going to take it. So, stern test in his first international for Gordon Banks of Leicester City to have to face a penalty kick taken by Jim Baxter, who scored Scotland's first goal. And he scored their second. Two goals to nil, Scotland lead. Oh, tragedy really hit England in two shattering minutes. And now it's Wilson. Winning then losing, but free kick given to England. And the Scots now come up with their follow, follow song. Byrne finding Charlton back now with Flowers. It's a lovely one to Greaves, now to Melia. Only two little men, those spearheads for England now. They move forward and you're towering above the pair of them. And England, of course, trying to draw the Scottish defence out. All the Scots have come back. Moore's unmarked on the right wing. There's Moore. Really high. That would, oh, Brown, I thought, I got too far underneath it. And Bobby Smith is coming back. Smith is coming back. He's coming out of the tunnel. And the Scots really giving him a roasting. Well, the booing's certainly unfair. It had nothing to do with Bobby Smith that Caldo got his serious injury. The Scottish goalkeeper, Bill Brown, having a word with Bobby Smith, who's his clubmate, and now it's right through. Is it going to be number 3? A great save, a desperate save by Banks. And up with Melia, and Soon England will be back to 11 men with Bobby Smith waiting for the signal to come on. Charlton flagged offside, but the linesman has now lowered his flag. That's Hamilton to Mackay. Greaves. Hamilton in now. St. John, and St. John losing control at the vital second, so it's Greaves. And Greaves slipping here, but notice how Hamilton backs him up, and Smith trying to attract the referee's attention for permission to come on the field. And Smith now has come back onto the field and very unfairly being booed. That's White to Baxter. White once again. Now Baxter. And Baxter just overrunning it, more coming on, and Smith is now on the right wing, limping very badly. Here he is, Bobby Smith back on the field. Don't think he'll be able to play a really effective part in the game. And Hamilton making a bad mistake. So it's out with Charlton. Now Smith, well, can he get a shot in? And it's Wilson who's laid out now at the expense of a corner, but he's getting on his feet. Ian McCall calling his forwards back. Henderson, St. John, White, Law. Law is the only one remaining upfield. The others have all come chasing back now to defend. Almost half-time now. Corner to England. And it's Ure who gets it clear. Number 9 is John. Henderson. It's White. They're with him just on his left. He's got St. John on the right wing, and he's got on the left wing and Law here on the right, and Hamilton coming up to join him. Notice how the Scots keep on going in, and they're getting most of the rebounds, as indeed they deserve to. And Smith into Douglas. And Douglas selling the odd dummy, a lovely bit of work, and now you're going across to challenge him. It's across with Melia. And now Melia. Melia way across to Moore. Now Charlton, and Moore following up. Smith, of course, completely unmarked. Well, that's a glorious pass from Smith to Douglas. No nuisance value about that. Playing well, and Greaves slipping beautifully. And a lovely save by Brown. But I think Mr. Horn, yes, he's given the free kick against Greaves. Free kick to Scotland, coming up for the 3rd minute of extra time now. Scotland leading 2-0. Baxter to Law. And of course, very difficult to get in to challenge Law, but the only way to do it, move quickly to the interception as the whistle goes for half-time. It's England who stopped the second half, 2-0 down, but Bobby Smith has come out for the second half. And Scotland, of course, still down to 10 men, as they will be, of course, throughout the whole of the game. And now here's Smith. Smith moving hard better than one would expect, and Greaves stripping the oar for once, but Law coming back to help the Scottish defence. It's Baxter forward to St. John. St. John playing the game he plays for Liverpool, lying deep all the time, and he's sandwiched in the 2 England wing halves, so it's a free kick to Scotland. Baxter going to take it. White completely unmarked on this left wing. Back now with Baxter across to Mackay. And Mackay pounding his way through, now finding White. That's a nasty looking one, and Biggs just getting those fingertips to him. Law, slight breeze now come up at ground level, blowing in England's favour. It's Melia. Melia to Smith. Well, that's a good one from Smith, and Greaves is too high. Goal kick to Scotland. 5 minutes of the second half gone. 2-0, Scotland lead. That was a dangerous move by Baxter, but Scotland seems so confident of themselves. They can do things like that. St. John to Henderson. Can he reach it? He can reach anything, this boy. England in trouble when Henderson has it, but it's a free kick to Scotland. Two-footed tackle by Byrne. Henderson going to take the free kick himself. And out goes Banks. Well, he did well to hold the ball that long. Now, Charlton. Charlton up to Greaves. Amelia moving on the left wing, and up pounds Flowers. Back to Greaves. 1-2, created a bit of space for Greaves. And Mackay now, bad bounce for Scotland, going out to Charlton, but Ure comes on the scene. Quite keeping it in, giving it to Henderson. Flowers having to chase back now. And Byrne left sprawling. Now it's St. John. Oh, and Henderson had stopped moving forward. Goal kick to England. So it's Douglas through to Greaves. And there is the Scottish covering, though Greaves sticking to the task. Now Charlton out to Smith. And long head of Ian Ure moving it away to White. Ball bouncing badly for Ure. That's Armfield for England. Moore. And in moves Douglas, and he's won. Fine effort by Douglas to beat Ure in the air. Law looking down on the English, but just walking through it at times. Now it's St. John. Law darting down the middle, Moore there with him to try and cover. And it's too far for him, I think. And it's corner. Oh, and Banks a bad mistake. Law, and Law must get the third. He's going, and what a scramble, and eventually Banks, luck really on his side that time. A bad mistake he made. Now this is where the Scots are wanting. They've only 3 men back. Baxter trying to chase back as Charlton comes through. Douglas to Charlton, and Mackay, Greaves, and Brown, the lucky man, and it's Wilson who gets it clear. And Wilson's kicked his own goalkeeper, but what does that matter? Wilson saved what looked like a certain goal. It's Baxter. Here's Henderson. Turning the wrong way and running into trouble, so it's out now with Melia, and now Douglas and Norman's moving up with the forwards. Now Melia trying to get through. Wilson, but his Flowers pounding up until Hamilton makes the interception. Here comes Byrne. Ure to Hamilton. 9 to Mackay, although England doing nearly all the attacking now against this very fine Scottish side. Scotland still looking the more likely winners. Now it's Mackay. Here comes Smith for England. Trying to find Douglas. And Ure's missed that one. It's a bad mistake by Ure. It should be number 1, and it is. "34 minutes of the second half gone, and Douglas has made it a goal for England. 2-1 down they are now. St. John going to go off the field, or isn't he? Yes, St. John is going off. So Scotland only leading now 2-1, and they've only got 9 men on the field. This really is England's chance. 10 minutes left for play. Bad mistake by the usually safe Ian Muir, giving England their goal. Here come England again. It's Charlton across to Smith. Well, it was Smith's pass that led to England's goal. And Wilson stopped another pile driver. And St John back on the field now. Here he is, so Scotland back to 10 men. Back with Law. Oh, a lovely dummy. Law to St John to White. Oh, St John might have overdone it, but he's got the rebound. Now finding Baxter, and Flowers deciding he's going to come into challenge, not allow the Scots to pull it down to walking pace and just keep possession as they have been doing, almost without any challenge from England. Hamilton to Mackay. Is Hamilton trying to get it through to Law? No success, and it's a goal kick. That's now there are just seconds to go. So this match looks as if it's been won by Scotland, and deservedly so. It's all over. Scotland, deservedly, the 10 men of Scotland, the 10 gallant men, have beaten England 2 goals to 1. And how well they deserve that great victory. A victory of which all Scots can be proud, and onto the field come the Scottish supporters, rushing the police aside rather, as Scotland have brushed England aside in this match. Davy Wilson being hugged and kissed and almost killed by an enthusiastic Scottish supporter. Davy Mackay being mobbed, and onto the field comes a Scottish banner. Well, you're not going to keep these happy Scots off the field after this great victory.